Yes, it worked. I know how to do things. I'm gonna put some music
You're very
on.
technical.
We're gonna try this one, maybe? Can everyone hear it?
No.
I can't.
I'm refreshing Roll20 because I don't think it finished loading completely.
Yeah, I always do this. It says
Do you
it's
just
playing.
have
I don't hear anything.
just have a picture of Sapphire up?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It was scrolled way in on him.
Yeah, I can see that the music is playing. I just can't hear anything.
Here, I'll refresh on my side. See what happens.
On my work.
There we go.
Yes?
Yes.
Oh. Jesus Christ.
I'll just exit out of Roll20 altogether. I'll pull seconds.
Why did it? No.
Why didn't?
That's always the question, isn't it?
Could you probably have bone in it?
There we go. We're just gonna do this because I want him to be visible. Because I can.
He's in our hearts. Did you shake your head?
Huh?
Yes. I love him, but
Okay.
yeah, I can't hear it, dude. Sorry.
Okay. Well, it's less important because you aren't with him now.
Hearing
So-
the theme.
Yeah, so there's no theme-specific music. It's just, this one's called, I think, Barovian Castle.
Fun.
Oh, not Barovia.
So, okay. Yes. Getting into it. Huzzah. We probably need a little bit of a recap, huh?
Do we have to?
Maybe just a little bit. So,
Go ahead.
Last time, here's what you missed on Glee. The party had fallen through the origin mirror and landed in a kind of facade of a schoolroom that looked identical to the previous real schoolroom, except for the fact that basically all of the color had been leached out of everything around them. You guys moved through the castle realizing that it was the exact same castle, just, Shadowfellified. And used it as an opportunity to start snooping through the parts of the castle that you wouldn't else have access to. You guys found quite a few things, some of which more phantasmal than others, leading you to being able to pick up certain objects and not being able to pick up others, figuring out that the ones that you can't pick up are probably newer things that are currently sitting in the real castle and not here in the Shadowfell. You found some concerning things, some sad things, quite a few paintings that do not exist in the castle anymore. Gore figured out a puzzle while Dodie and Arathar attempted to figure out anything about what was going on. Gore just kind of went for it. Figured that on his own. You
He
guys
does what he wants.
crossed a strange bridge through the outside of the Shadowfell, in the open air, to this other part of the castle that doesn't exist on the material plane, where you found yourself in a courtyard fighting some sort of undead creature, getting a little bit of help from somebody above you, assumingly
Magic.
Saphael, with some lavender magic happening, which sounds like a metaphor.
For lesbianism.
You guys made your way through his part of the castle, receiving some visions, through the mirrors of things happening or that have happened in the kingdom, as well as basically his entire life story, which was that his parents, the king and queen, had offered a shard from the Shadowfell to the Whispering Companion Gier to have a child, and they were given Saphael, who of course was kind of fucked up because they offered a shard from the Shadowfell. So when things started to go wrong, and he accidentally broke a mirror into the Shadowfell, they didn't help him. And they basically let their only son at the time fall into the Shadowfell, and then just pretended like he never existed, and just completely wiped over history, and he's been there ever since. And he can see the people on the material plane, but he can't interact with them. So he's been there for 15 years. Until Dodie was finally able to cross that threshold and come and find him. Apparently learning that her parents also gave something to the Whispering Companion's twin, the Sage Queen. So who knows about that, but not the greatest. But in the end, the party made their way to the top of his tower. He was very excited to finally, first of all, see people, but not only to see people, but to see specifically Dodie. Hell yeah. Seeing Dodie, he was ecstatic, obviously. And he was also even more excited to show her his plan. Which in turn, of course, became him explaining that he wants to put trials upon the kingdom, and whoever survives will be ruled by him and Dodie, as they know justice and know truth and should be the ones ruling over instead of the corrupt system that's currently in place. Which, not the best. And when Dodie started to push back a little bit, being like, hey, maybe let's not kill an entire kingdom, he got kind of frustrated and implied that she didn't know the full truth and that he was disappointed and that he wasn't going to reveal the truth to her when it was somebody else's job to do so. And then shoved all of you guys back through the mirror, basically. And that's about where we left off, with some kind of aggressive words being exchanged between the other members of the party and Saphael. And we ended with the three of you having a small glimpse of a vision before falling into the darkness. So I think that's where we're going to pick up. Yes?
Sure.
Yes.
Delicious.
Delicious. So, we pick up with the three of you, having fallen unconscious again. You can mark a long rest because you did go fully unconscious if you haven't done so already, because I'm being nice.
Being
The darkness, like before, is all-consuming. It's like being asleep, but you know that you've fallen unconscious. After that glimpse of vision passes, and there's just this overwhelming darkness, it starts to feel like night. It starts to feel like that strange luminous sky that you saw in glimpses before you slipped through the mirror again. That feeling of the wind not really touching you but passing through you starts to fade. And everything that you had experienced in the previous day? Question mark? It's hard to tell time. Starts to really settle in. That adrenaline starts to wear down a little bit. You aren't quite sure exactly how long you're out for, but eventually your senses start to return, and though your eyelids feel heavy, you begin to feel that you're laying on ground. Kind of shifting a bit. It feels a little uncomfortable before the three of you start to awaken about the same time. In your unconsciousness, you do start to remember that you felt a thud of sorts, but now waking up, you can tell that you've been laying there for a second. Who knows how long, but probably not too long. You wake up this time, seeing around you immediately green foliage and hills. You shift a little bit, and through the corner of your eye, you do see the castle again.
Oh, thank God.
oh my god.
It is, as you remember it, and as you shift and start to sit up a little bit, the patch of sky above you looks familiar. Its normal hue and luster has returned, though the exact spot you're staring at was the one that you saw right before you fell through the mirror. As you sit up, you realize that you are in kind of like the hilly back garden area of the castle grounds, still within the gates, where you assume that that tower probably is in the Shadowfell, though of course here you cannot see it or feel it. But you wake up, Dodie, a couple sticks in your hair. Arathar, you definitely landed on a rock. Gore, there's a little bit of an indent where you landed.
Sick.
But you all awaken. It is, seems to be maybe mid-morning, getting towards afternoon now. But you're assuming that a day has probably passed. At least.
That's always fun.
Is there, can I, as I'm getting up, am I in a place where can I make sure there's like no people walking by? There's like no, like we can't hear anything. Like
Yeah.
perception check, maybe.
Yeah, make a perception check.
Okay.
Oh, my dice.
I don't know
That's what
why
I forgot. Hold on.
That's weird. As these other two are. $18.
Can't believe I forgot my dice.
Ah, we saw places.
Okay. Yes.
18.
18. Looking around, you're in a back corner of the castle grounds that is not used for anything. It's kind of maintained so that it looks presentable, but it's not a place that people really go. So you don't see anyone around, and it's relatively quiet. You can hear the sounds of the city further down through the gates, but where you are right now, you are alone and kind of secluded.
Am I hungry?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Dodie's gonna sit up, start to kind of look around, take in her surroundings, And then she just starts to... just cackling.
Arthur takes in the surroundings and starts to look at Gore, and she starts laughing. He just stares at her for a while and then looks back at Gore. We need to start moving. We definitely need to leave the grounds completely. Preferably, I would like to leave the city, and regroup, so to speak. But we cannot stay, at least anywhere close castle right now. This is on a far grander scale than I keeps looking over at Jody, but back to Gore than I ever could initially have thought.
I mean, I feel like we just need to go in there and tell them what's going on. Like,
I don't know if we can. We do not need to do that. We don't need to do that at all, because originally I would have said that we need to do that. Like I said, this is on a far grander scale than I don't think. Miss Lee, are you all? That's not asking if you're right. It's not a. We don't need
what if we got? Hold on.
This is
Let
just
me-
great.
What if we went and got something to eat and talked about it while we ate? We're just gonna
As
start
long as
getting
we do
up.
it on the edge or outside of the capital, that's fine, as long as we're far away from the castle.
Oh, man. Alright. Oh, she stands up. She starts, like, brushing her clothes off. Gents! Lovely to meet you. You know what? If you want to come with me, that's fine, but I need to take care of some things and then get the fuck out of town. I have some questions that I need answers to, so I'm gonna hit the road.
Where are you going?
I'm going south. Fuck it. Oh my gods.
I'm not comfortable with staying in this city any longer than
Hold on.
12 hours.
Hold on. Why are we going south?
Because apparently my parents did something fucking stupid, and I need to go grill them about it.
I don't think now is the time.
Oh, it's definitely the time. I'm going to have some answers that nobody around here is gonna fucking give me.
Can't you just... Is there mail?
There
It'll
is.
take too long.
Can't you just mail them? There's a... I don't know if you saw that. There was a whole army,
Listen,
and they have my rock!
listen.
I think your family matters are not on the scale of importance right now.
Oh, you think they don't know shit about whatever the fuck that was?
They definitely do. Mr. Gore, I don't want Mr. Saphael having the rock and his army of darkness. I also don't want the crown to have the rock. So that's why I would prefer to not speak with anyone that works for anyone part of the crown right now, due to some information that I have recently acquired.
Oh,
We don't have to tell them about the rock. We just have to tell them that they're... the whole thing.
Gentlemen, I have half an
Then-
idea. Now, we can tell them that there's shit going on without giving them any details or telling them where the rock is. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying, well, your kid's out for blood. Peace. We don't have to say any more than that.
A note.
I was planning on it.
That's and if we go there in person, it's more likely that we'll be arrested and we won't be able to do anything productive, Mr. Gore. If this war goes on and they know about the war, then they'll take the rock and we won't have it. We go and we get arrested, we can't do anything about it. Do you see my point?
I raise your point with the fact that there are a lot of people here. That if that shit got out,
I'm probably thinking on a grander scale than you are, Mr. Gore. I'm thinking about all of you, not just Diamond. I think that telling the Crown anything is a bad idea right now. And within the confines of the city, I'm not really going to elaborate why, especially out in the open right now. But I'm thinking about all of you right now. I don't think it's a good idea to tell the Crown that we know anything, especially in person. If you want to send a note, that's fine, as long as we have fucked off. In less than 12 hours from now, preferably within 3. Everybody's gonna turn. He's gonna start walking in the general direction of the Ten very quickly.
In the general direction of what?
Of the Ten Cast Tavern. No, frankly.
Okay. So you're gonna start walking towards the gates.
Yeah,
it's in the city.
And you have to walk through... You either have to walk all the way around the castle, or you have to walk through the castle to get to the gates. To get to the city.
I thought we were in the fucking...
No, we're outside of... we're in Dodge right now.
Damn it.
Yeah, you are within...
It's just gonna start inching backwards then. I thought that we were just... Sorry, I misunderstood the geography of what before.
Nah, you're good. Yeah, I turned him off. Because he's too loud. Our air conditioner. Anyway. So, where are you, going?
He's starting to inch backwards. Since they're, like, in Dodge, then there's, like, nowhere really for him to go by himself. So, that's why I was just leaving it.
You get up and start to walk a little bit, kind of like checking out the area and seeing how close you are. You can... to the castle. You can see the wall on the opposite side of you, and you see how large of a wall it is, and that kind of makes sense for the scale of the castle that you're in. But you can see the castle to your opposite side and see where the outline of the atrium is from your perspective.
She's gonna start walking toward her office.
Okay. Dodie gets up from the ground and just starts walking.
Of course, gonna follow because she's headed back into town. And then turn. I would like to recommend we get food.
You got it.
That's fine. That's... And Airtho's gonna follow Gore.
Alright, so you two start to follow Dodie, who is just walking near aimlessly, but with purpose. It's an odd combination towards her office. It takes you not that long before you kind of crest over a small portion of the hill and arrive at the Sacrosanct Annex. You can see it looks about the same that it always does, and looking back towards the main part of the castle, you don't see any of the damage that you had seen before. Noise outside. And Dodie, I'm assuming you just kind of throw open the doors and walk in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, walking in, you do see Jen, who is sat at her desk with her feet up. Looks to be, like, going through, like, a small, like, almost like a folded booklet type thing. It's got bright pink lettering in some language that you don't know on the front of it. You're assuming probably, like, halfling or something of the sort. Because you don't know what languages she knows, but it's not common. But she's like kind of flipping through that a little bit and looks up when you enter and immediately sets it down. And it's like,
Good morning.
what the fuck happened? You were gone for like a whole fucking day.
Oh, Jen. It's been a weird fucking 48, whatever the fuck, however many hours. I don't fucking give a damn at this point.
It's probably close.
Oh, I have a couple of tasks for you.
Alright. I'm
Well-
so interested in whatever the fuck happened. Also,
Okay,
hi Gore.
Well,
Hi, Jen. They're best buds now.
Like, did something fucking explode or some shit? I haven't heard anything about it. It's like you guys disappeared.
something like that.
And then, like, it was fine.
I don't even know where to begin.
Are you, like, okay?
No,
Ah.
not even a little bit.
Do you want a drink?
So badly.
She reaches down into her desk and pulls out a kind of like a green sea glass type bottle with a blue liquor of some sort in it, and then a little shot glass, and she just pours out shots. And she sets them down. You can take one if you want. You don't seem like a shot person. And she points at Arathar. But she makes one out for Gore if he wants one.
He reaches, thank you, and shoots it back.
Yeah.
Puts it back.
It's like really sour at first, and then really sweet.
Sour Patch Kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
Right? Anyway. Well, like,
Oh,
holy shit. Okay. What do we need to do?
Well, I'm going to strongly recommend that after I finish up cleaning up in here, that you go home and update your resume.
Shit, are we like fucking up the place?
So,
Well, fuck. Okay. Like, do you need any help? Fuck, are you like on
Well,
the
I'm
run or
not-
something?
something like that.
Holy shit.
I have a couple of tasks for you.
Okay.
Number one, I'm going to go back into my office and I'm going to set fire to every piece of paper in there.
Sick.
And then I'm going to make out a note that I'm going to need you to take into the mailroom
Okay.
and then go home.
Okay.
Fantastic. And she walks back into her office.
Gore, Arathar, you see her immediately start pulling things out of her desk, and then you watch her set on her desk from the bottom drawer one of those like overhead slingshots. Just sets it on her desk and starts rooting through the rest of it. She pulls out like 5 bottles of nail polish, but then just keeps going about her business.
Gore's gonna kind of scooch over to the desk and kind of put an elbow. Yo, she's got an evil twin.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
That's so wild. Like, wait, like long lost twin type shit?
Mm-hmm.
That's like novel type shit. I mostly only read romance fics, but you know.
I can't read.
Oh. Like
At
any
least
language?
common.
Oh, yeah.
Nah, I can read Draconic.
Oh, nice. That one's like hard, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like guttural.
Yeah. Do you want another shot? And she pours herself another shot.
Sure.
So while that's happening, Tony.
Arathar in the corner. Just
Erica is standing in the corner, just like tapping his foot.
Dodie, you go back into your office.
Yeah. She starts pulling papers out of the filing cabinets. Anything that has any trace of her visions, prophecies, whatever you want to call them, she starts setting them on fire and putting them in the trash can.
Yeah, makes sense. You start pulling out the filing cabinet drawers and start just grabbing them by the handful and shoving them into the trash can, lighting a quick match and putting it in there as it just bursts into flame because it's all paper and parchment. The fire slowly getting bigger within the metal trash can, but you kind of just keep piling it on.
Her journal, her dream journal, she puts safely into her bag. Everything else going in the fire. And as she does, she kind of calls out into the other room. Hey, Arathar?
Yes.
There's a plane that's parallel to the Shadowfell, right?
Yes. He's gonna walk over to the door.
Which one is it again?
The Feywild.
Fuck!
Yes. Yes, that's an appropriate reaction, I think.
I don't know what either of those places are, Jen.
Oh, it's like you have like the material plane, and then you have like the Shadowfell, and you have like the Feywild.
Oh. Interesting.
It's like a sandwich.
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
The Feywild is a bit tricky because it appears as very harmless and fairy tale-esque, but nothing is as it seems there, and it is potentially very harmful and dangerous.
So we don't want to go there.
Well, that might have to be the case. But maybe not go there, but we might have to learn a great deal about it.
Fuck, if you guys have to go to the Feywild, let me know.
Do you want to come?
I don't know, maybe not come, but I might have some, like, resources.
Wait, have you been there?
No.
Aw.
I know a guy.
Oh, please say more right now.
Yeah,
She
he's
says,
like-
"Can you see fire?"
Well, he's like top half dude, bottom half goat.
Ah,
Fascinating.
Yeah.
does he live here?
Is his name Billy?
No. He like, I guess like kind of. He has a cart that he sells stuff at, and it travels.
Oh, Billy Goat.
Is his name Billy?
that would had to sizzle a little bit.
Anyway, she starts rifling through her desk again.
Sorry. I stepped on the power splitter and the lamps flickered because I'm silly. Once everything is safely on fire, and extinguished safely, you know, I don't want to try to burn the building down or anything.
It does get
Just some
very
mild-
hot in your office.
That makes sense. It's a lot of paper in there. Just gonna wander back out into the lobby. Well, something tells me that I should probably go collect my things from my apartment before, you know, guards are sent after me or something. I don't fucking know.
Shit, yeah.
This is great. I'm having the best day. This is the best way to spend the day after my birthday.
Yeah, like I didn't even get to get you anything because like you were gone, and I was gonna like take you out for like a drink or some shit.
Very sweet. I was having the worst day ever instead.
Yeah, it fucking sounds like it.
We went to the Shadowfell, Jen.
That's gross. No one wants to go there. I'll fuck you
Rose
up.
doesn't even begin to cover it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh man.
Wow.
Alright.
It's crazy.
What are you gonna do after this? He grabs a pen and starts scribbling.
That's a good question. I don't know. I was just kind of working here to work here. Because, like, you know, Sage Queen, whatever, cool, down with it. And then, like, you're cool. So it's like, okay, sick, I don't have a boss that sucks. You know?
Oh, you are a treat and a joy, and, you know, if I live through whatever the fuck is about to happen, don't be a stranger.
Yeah. I might go visit family or some shit. I don't know.
Where's your family from, Jen?
West of here. No, east of here. Shit. What are directions?
East.
Yeah, east.
I'd recommend getting out of the city, since they're probably going to want me. They're probably going to want to question you, too.
Shit. Well, sick. Okay, well, my loyalties are mine, bitch. Fuck the man.
Yeah, fuck the man. Real quick, huge favor.
Yeah.
I need the most obnoxious shade of pink lipstick you have.
Sick. She starts rifling through her makeup bag. And she pulls out, just hot pink.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
She puts it on. She seals up the envelope. She has written a note out that says, I hope you fucking drop dead. P.S. Tell your boss that his son is out for blood. XOXODL.
Nice.
Then she's going to seal the envelope, put a big old pink lipstick kiss on it, and then write Victor's name on the front and hand it off to Jen.
Yeah. Sick.
Go put this in the mail for me.
Okay. Can do. Well, try not to, die or anything. That would, major suck.
I'm gonna do my best.
And, if you guys, ever, need anything, like I said, my loyalties are mine. I don't give a fuck about the man. So, if you need any help with anything, or if you need to find anybody, gotcha.
Appreciate it.
Sick. Well, I'm gonna go...
Please tell me that.
Yeah,
Sorry,
continue.
please tell me that Jen lives through the cataclysm.
She might be indestructible, you don't know.
She'll fuck a bitch up with that sling.
She puts everything in her black and gold and pink bag that's this gigantic purse. It's half of her size. It's iconic. And then she's holding the letter, and she jumps down off of her chair, and she's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go put this in the mail, and then I'm gonna go stock up on candy. Shit, I forgot my alcohol. And she goes back and she grabs her alcohol and shoves it in her purse, and she's like, okay, now I'm gonna go. So, don't die. Don't die. I don't know you. Just starts walking.
Love you, bye.
Bye. Love ya. Bye. She walks out.
Gone but never forgotten. Oh, man. She's gonna look at the boys, put her bag over her shoulder, make sure her axe is secure. So I'm gonna go grab the things that are important out of my apartment, and then I think we should go to Crank Noodles and hatch out a plan.
Sounds ideal.
Gore, what say you?
Sure.
Riveting.
Do you want us to accompany you to your home so that no one snatches you or arrests you? Or do you want to just meet us over there?
I'll just meet you over there. Fuck it, if I die, I die at this point.
Alright, that's your call. Mr. Gore,
Yeah, what's up?
I didn't know who you were going with. Are you going with me? Are you going with her? What?
Probably with you.
Alright.
You're going to get food, right?
I was just going to go to Mr. Noodle's Tavern, but it's right across the street from... Yes. Fine. Yes.
And there is Noodles.
He just has noodles.
That you know of.
I guess it'll have to do.
There's also a busy tavern across the way that has more food. I would prefer if we were to get food there to bring it back so we're not around so many people that could see us. But
Damn. Betrayal. You work so hard on
Figure
those
it out.
noodles.
He stuck them in a pot. He boiled water and he put them in a pot.
And instead of refried beans, he does refried noodles.
Be careful, Miss Lee.
Sure.
He's gonna start to turn and walk out towards the exit.
I'm assuming you all are walking in the same direction because you're trying to leave the castle grounds, yes?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot she didn't live on castle grounds. Okay, my bad.
So you all begin to make your way over to the main part of the castle. What direction are we walking?
Like through the castle?
Yeah, like, are you walking through the busy atrium, or are you walking through the offices?
Oh god, neither sounds good.
The atrium has more people. That's probably...
We're less likely to get snatched in the atrium, I think. So, more witnesses, what have you. So I think that way.
Okay. You walk around the back of the kitchen and up to the back door between the kitchen and the atrium. Stepping through, you can see how busy it is, and you remember, according to the time, this is probably the busiest point in the castle. Stepping in, people are bustling about, and you're trying to keep your head down a little bit, moving quickly, passing through some of the different crowds of people waiting or moving about. You see a couple servant girls walk past, holding a couple things, whispering intently. And as you make your way about halfway through the atrium, Dodie, you do feel a small tug at the bottom of your sleeve. You look over to your side and you see that Broadkith has appeared out of nowhere.
Right, I meant to... It's probably important that we update you on some things.
She nods, looks around, doesn't say anything, and starts to walk you guys towards the stairwell. Still holding on to your sleeve, by the way.
Oh,
She takes you into, she starts to walk into the regular stairwell and then can immediately hear footsteps, turns around and walks into the bell tower stairwell, where you hear it is completely silent. She walks in, and there is a door to the stairwell. It is open nearly 100% of the time, but she does close it. And she sighs a little bit and turns around. You can see that she's still wearing approximately the same getup that she had before, the very simple and kind of, matronly navy blue dress. And as she kind of stands to turn back to look at all of you, you can see that she fiddles with that gold bracelet that she has with the symbol of the Sage Queen on it. She definitely looks worried. And it's almost concerning to be able to tell that because of this nearly pristine look of calm and poise that she has on her face that is being broken at the edges by this overwhelming concern. As she turns around. You disappeared.
found him.
So he's alive.
Ah. The pro, do you want to hear the con?
She just nods very seriously, as if she's kind of expecting this.
Let me ask you a question real quick. How cool are you going to react if I tell you he's up to something really, really bad?
I will not be surprised.
Ooh, fun.
I will
All right,
be disappointed.
Broad strokes. legions of the undead. He's gathering them. Listen, what his parents did was fucked up. Semicolon, however, comma. Maybe it's not worth putting the entire kingdom under trials to see who deserves to live. What have I forgotten? She looks back.
That's about the gist of it that involves him. He does, Mr. Gore, you said he does have the capuchon?
I think so.
Yes,
Something
he has an
was
explosive, as well, of monumental, destruction, in addition to the Legion of Darkness and such.
She looks as if she's considering a lot. And you can tell that there are things clicking together in her head as if she's putting the pieces of a puzzle together. I know it's of no concern to you, but I had a sneaking suspicion that they would ruin him. I know it doesn't matter now. But he was never a malicious boy. Out of all the royal children that I have cared for, he was the kindest by far. He always put others first, even to his detriment. Never even pulled on a dog's tail. But he was lost. That corrupting, darkened place pulled his life from him. And it is their fault, in my eyes. He's not a child anymore. And I cannot care for him. But he never got to grow up. So I assume that you will be going. This kingdom is full of secrets, lies, and betrayal, but the truth and the knowledge of what is and what was can guide you, even when it must break you first. I wish you the best of luck with everything. And I know he will never be my boy again, but if you see it fit, don't let him ruin what he was. Thank you. She sets her hands down by her sides and kind of curtsies a little bit formally to the three of you.
Don't think that because I'm leaving the city doesn't mean I don't care. I'm supposed to do something for him. I'm not sure what that entails, but I need some information, and I need to get the fuck out of this place. And then whatever she wants me to do is what I'm going to do.
When I heard of you on the castle grounds, I knew that you were hers. But when I saw you, and your smile was so much like his, I think I was the only one that noticed. I wish you the best of luck, and I hope that she guides you truly. I must get back to my young prince. And she begins to ascend the stairs towards the second floor.
Gonna open the door and make sure that nobody's like hovering
Okay.
before slipping out.
Okay.
We'll follow.
You make your way out into the hallway. You can see down past into the offices, or the office section down further. And then back up past that, you can see towards the atrium and towards the door where you're heading. There's still quite a few people, some of who you recognize and some of who you don't. And there's definitely a lot of commotion that seems to be happening, but you begin to make your way towards the front gates and down the path to the main gates out into the city. No one else seems to pull on your sleeves. And you make it out into the city with relative ease. So I believe you are splitting up. Okay.
Yes.
Gore and Arathar, you're going towards Crank Noodle's Tavern.
Yes.
Alright. Is there anything you guys want to do before you split up? Okay.
It's just like a nod and just peeling off.
Sweet. Dodie, you begin to make your way towards the kind of apartment building that you are quite familiar with, kind of working on autopilot at this point. And Gore and Arathar, you begin to make your way down towards where more of the taverns and the inns are. It's a little bit of a walk. Not too terribly bad, but it's a little bit of a trek. And I'm assuming both of you are on somewhat high alert. So if you would like to do anything while you walk.
Perception check.
Perception.
14.
14?
17.
17. Okay. Walking through the city now, it has become afternoon-ish, you know. You're still not sure of the exact time because of the everything, but you begin walking through the streets. It's as busy as you expect it to be at this time of day, and people are passing by. Of course, you get about as many stares as you expect to get, being the two of you. But you still keep an eye out for anything else that might seem off, or anybody whose eyes linger a little too long or stray a little too close. You're walking for a little bit, and you get pretty close towards where you see the two opposing taverns further down, about 2 blocks down, when you both start to notice someone walking about the same speed as you on the opposite side of the street. And that wouldn't necessarily raise any red flags had it been any other day. But you do notice it. looking over, you can see that it is a much shorter figure. You're assuming somewhere within halfling or dwarf height, with a cloak on, with the hood pulled up.
Aerithar is... Go ahead, Tyler.
I was gonna say, like, how far did you say they were from us?
Opposite side of the street.
Okay. Is it a pretty busy street?
Yeah. Like, not,
Okay.
it's not packed. Like, there are still, like, carts going by every once in a while in the main part of the street, but there are, like, you know, a smattering of people walking by.
Gore is gonna start, like, not walking straight, but walking, like, diagonally, like he's trying to go to, like, a store or something,
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of bump into them a little bit.
They're, like, you're on one side of the sidewalk, they're across the street on the other sidewalk.
Okay. Yeah, I will start walking diagonally, so, like, eventually...
Okay, like, crossing the street.
Mhm.
Okay. You start to make your way over there?
Yeah.
Aerithar?
Yeah, I'll follow. All he does about it is he walks like the same pace and he kind of briefly makes eye contact with Gore, but if Gore's doing that, he's just gonna follow him.
Are you walking with like a I'm coming to get ya, or is it just kind of like a ooh dee doo dee doo dee doo?
Just walking normally, like,
Okay.
normally diagonal.
Okay. Okay. You eventually cross the street. At this point, they had slowed down a little bit, and so you begin to slow down a little bit, kind of to catch up with that person. As you reach about the point where you're just going to fully just punt them over, they make a sharp, sudden turn into an alleyway.
Gordon's following them into the alleyway.
You begin to follow them down the alley. Aerithar,
He stops for just a second as Gore turns, like he's gonna say something, but he just kind of shakes his head and just follows him anyway. There's just he's gonna say something.
you follow this person down this alley, their footsteps picking up faster and faster. And as you make your way to the back of this alley following this person, it leads into kind of like a branch of like the back part between several buildings. And you watch as they turn again and just dart down a different path.
He's gonna turn down that path and go, "Hey, haven't I seen you somewhere before?"
You dart around the corner. Aerithar, you are now struggling to keep up with them as they have started to not quite run, but nearly. And as you turn around the corner, see Gore throw out his finger and just start yelling at this person. You watch as the hooded figure, like, kind of like ducks and jives for a moment. Like, I was like, ah, shit, something's gonna get thrown at me, almost. But not quite. And you hear maybe what possibly could be a response. If you would like to make a perception check to see if you hear it.
Yes.
Mhm.
Big dice. That's a 19.
That's a 22.
Okay. As you both round this corner and see this person start to, like, sidestep for a moment, you hear, shit!
He's
Before-
sprinting after this motherfucker.
You begin...
How far is he from me? Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
He's probably about... I'd say 35 feet from you.
Also, I have 40 feet of movement. I don't know if
Okay, are you going to lunge for this person?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I would like you to make a grapple.
Is that
check.
strength?
What is that? That's a great question.
I want to say it's strength.
Gripply. Yeah, for you it's athletics. Or you can
Athletics?
do athletics or acrobatics.
I'll take the athletics because I have very good athletics. Oh boy, that's a 24.
24. Oh, that's so interesting. You lunge for this person, Erithar. You watch as Gore becomes basically horizontal for a moment. As you reach out and fully just wrap your arms around this person, squeezing them for a moment to hold them in place. Erithar, can you make another perception check for me as this happens?
Yeah, absolutely, I can.
Oh god.
It's a 16.
Okay. Okay. Gore, you wrap your arms around this person and feel as your arms close further than you're expecting them to from the shape of the cloak, before you catch what is probably a foot to the face, though it's hard to see because it goes directly over your eye, so you can't see it. And Erithar, you watch in almost a moment of stunned confusion as this person within the cloak just whoop, slips directly out of Gore's arm, stops on the top of his head, and then just jumps through a window. You do catch.
Oh shit!
You do catch for a split second view of their arm, which throws you off for a moment as their skin is a vibrant yellowish green before they completely disappear into one of the buildings and the window slams shut.
Yellowish green or just yellow?
Like a yellowish green, kind of like a lime green.
Okay, can I, real quick, as I see that and listen to Gore fail, watch Gore fall on his face to the ground, can I, maybe not an insight check, but just like what kind of creature maybe that would be? Because that's an unusual skin tone.
Yeah,
If there's
make,
anything I can roll, this is familiar to me.
say maybe a nature check?
Not cock. Okay, cool. 19?
19. Had it been a person of a different stature, your guess would have been different. But with how small the person appeared to be, it kind of makes the options strange. You know that there are some more Fey ancestry related species that could possibly have that color skin. You aren't very well acquainted with them, so you're not entirely sure. Like I said, had it been a person of a different stature, your immediate guess would have been probably tiefling, but you've never met a tiefling that short. The only other thing that could maybe work, though you have no point of reference, would be maybe a goblin. You're not really sure anything about goblins.
About
Those
goblin
aren't Fey, are they?
No.
No. Okay, cool. But it could. From the skin tone, it could have been something of Fey ancestry.
It could have been one of the many Fey ancestry races, or maybe a goblin. You've never met a goblin, and goblins aren't from the places you've been.
All right, cool. That makes sense. He's gonna walk, sprint over to Gore. To see if, I don't know, he probably doesn't need any help getting up. He's probably got up already.
Little shit's good. I'm on an empty stomach.
There are. He's turning around again already, seeing that he's fine and walking back in the direction from which they came. There's a couple of different options, and one of them that I'm leaning towards makes a lot more sense than the other. I definitely think that we need to leave town. I was already certain of it, now I'm like extra certain. I'm always right, but this is a time where I'm absolutely correct. We need to leave town.
Nah, whatever. He's gonna start walking back toward Crank Noodles.
Okay.
Or the tavern across to
Almost-
then get food and then go back to Crank Noodles.
Almost had them though.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
You almost had them though.
Like I said, I would have had him if if I had eaten something today.
Well, that's what we're going to do now. If we run into another one, then maybe you can amend that.
I'm not gonna grab him. I'm gonna beat the shit out of him. Let's go get something to eat, please. I'm getting grumpy.
Follow Gore.
Okay. You walk back out to the street and walk down the rest of the block towards these couple of taverns set within the city. You make your way over into the Diner's Gold Inn and order a bit of food. They bring it out to you on normal plates. So I'm assuming maybe you scoop it onto a napkin or something.
They're gonna give it to him on plates. Hey, you guys want like a to-go box?
Huh?
Never mind.
Are there any like empty corners in the bar right now, or is it really full?
Gore's just gonna dump the whole plate in his mouth. Put it back.
As Aerithar, as you start to look around to see if there's a quiet spot within the tavern, you look back for a moment at Gore and watch as his jaw just fully opens and all the food just slides into it.
That was unnecessary. That
Ooh, that hit the spot. Sorry, what was that, Aerithar?
Just hold his hand up. Do you have any to-go boxes, or can I just put it all on a napkin and leave?
I mean, I guess you can.
That's fine. That's fine. Just on a napkin. I'll just take it. We're just taking it to go. Thank you.
Okay. She walks away, leaving a napkin there for you.
He probably takes like half of what's on the plate, a little bit of everything, and just curls it up and walks over and walks out.
What?
Towards.
You didn't finish your food. Takes the
He's
plate.
eating it with him.
Oh, I thought you said only half the food.
Oh yeah, it was half of it. You take the plate and you eat the rest
He
of it.
finishes all the leftovers and puts it back, and then flips I guess a silver would be more than enough.
You leave the silver there for her as she kind of looks back at the two of you as you leave, confused. You make your way across the street over into Crank Noodles' tavern and start to get settled in at one of the many empty tables. So I'm going to switch back over to Dodie real quick.
I'm gonna get a drink.
Dodie, you begin to make your way towards your apartment. Like I said before, kind of working on autopilot. But
Can I make a perception check as I walk?
yes, you may.
Because, oh my god. It's not the best day of her life. Hey, that's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay. You continue walking. Still keeping an eye out, thinking over everything that has happened. And the walk isn't necessarily eventful. Not really much of seems to be happening on your street, and you make your way into your apartment with no obstructions to your path.
Good. I don't trust it. It's fine.
So, you make your way up to your apartment. unlock your door and walk in.
Yep.
I'm assuming.
Going to grab the bare essentials.
Okay.
Her bed shackles.
Mm-hmm.
Her silencing mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
Her armor.
Mm-hmm.
Some clean clothes.
Nice.
I guess anything of like sentimental value that she can shove into a bag.
Nice.
Basically anything that she wouldn't want to leave behind forever. But she makes her peace with that really cute party dress that she
Yeah.
never wore anywhere. And she's not going to have an opportunity to ever wear it. So, whoever comes to clean out her apartment can, figure out what to do with it.
Yeah.
She's going to go look at the mirror just one last time to make sure nothing fucky's happening.
It is shattered.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Well, yeah. She's gonna grab her stuff, shove it in her bag, and get the fuck out before, I don't know, anybody comes to find her.
Cool. You grab your shit, leaving your apartment, locking it one last time because why not? And begin to make your way back down the stairs towards the city streets. It feels strange leaving this place that had become a constant for you, knowing that this is probably not going to be a place that I come back to anytime soon, if at all. But you make your way out onto the streets and begin the trek over towards Crank Noodles, that all-around good guy. I don't know why I quoted George of the Jungle. Anyway,
I want to psychoanalyze you.
You won't like me when I'm psychoanalyzed. Now I'm just quoting shit.
I love the smell of urinal.
Use the ladies' room!
I need my beauty sleep!
Anyway, the walk over towards Crank Noodles' tavern is about as eventful as the walk over towards your apartment was. You're still on edge, you're still keeping an eye out for everything, and you're walking a little bit slower with all of your stuff now. Did you put on your armor, or did you just grab it?
I think she just grabbed it.
Okay, I just wanted to check.
Yeah.
But
Kind of whatever she can fit in a bag, great. Anything else, she's just kind of carrying it.
cool.
It's kind of weird to walk through the city streets wearing full plate.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was asking. But you finally reach the city block with the Tin Cask Tavern and the Diner's Gold Inn sitting on opposing sides like warring chess pieces. One, of course, looking about as busy as ever, and the other one looking sad. But you do see your two companions through the window. What was your perception check before?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20, okay. As you begin to enter Crank Noodles' tavern, which, as you do so, you can see that Crank Noodles is now standing behind the bar holding two handfuls of noodles, looking at Aerithar and Gore. Apparently having a conversation of some sort. Just, like, imagine just fistfuls of lo mein noodles. That's what's happening right now. But as you do so, and as you walk in, you do hear sudden, frantic, tiny footsteps approaching you, and then a familiar voice calling out, "Dudes! Oh my god, wait, hold on!" You are standing there with the door open. Gore and Aerithar, you suddenly hear the familiar voice of Jen suddenly calling out, and look over and see that Dodie is standing, holding a bunch of stuff with the door propped open. Jen runs over. She's got what is an empty glass in her hand, like she just finished whatever she was drinking and forgot to set it down when she ran over. Oh my god, okay. Sorry, wasn't expecting to run so quickly.
You close the door behind them both.
Yeah. Okay.
Gestures to the table.
So, bit weird. I dropped your letter off. Did that.
Thank you.
Took my shit, fucking booked it. I did, however, get a message from a totally squirrely sounding dude. And he was like totally freaking out. And he said that he'd been trying to get a message to you or something like that, and it hadn't like gone through, and he didn't know if you were like dead or some shit. But that like people are like trying to find him or something. And he's like, he was totally freaking out. So,
Did he give you any information about where he is?
he said something about trying to go and meet you. But I'm assuming it sounded like he was totally freaking out, and the message was only so many words, but I think he was probably trying to get to your office because he was asking me if you were dead.
Oops. Shit.
So,
That's unfortunate.
total mess.
What did you tell him? Did you tell him I'm not dead?
I told him you're not dead.
Okay.
And then I was asking him who the fuck he was. Because I don't know him.
Yeah.
And I was saying, because like I didn't want to like spill any of your shit or anything, so like I didn't really say much. I just said that you're not dead, and that you're kind of like dealing with shit right now. And you know, who the fuck is he? That sort of vibe. I don't remember exactly what I said. I don't really do the whole like message thing a lot.
Yeah. Hmm. Well, shit. I don't want to go back there. That's unfortunate. Hey, stop it.
No.
Well, thank you for being the bearer of this news. This is the guy who sent me that very rambling note several days ago.
Okay. Yeah. Were you like looking for him or some shit?
Yeah, and then we assumed he was dead. We assumed he got pulled into the Shadowfell first.
Oh, he sounded
Because
like
it was
he was dying.
Maybe so. We assumed he was dead, so it's nice to hear that he's not, I guess.
Yeah.
Because he's supposed to have some information. Forgot all about that at this point. Okay.
I don't know. He just said that people were after him or some shit, so.
Yeah. Yeah, people sure are after him. Surely he's not going to want to go back into the castle where anybody could see him, right?
I don't know. Do you want to like try like find him or some shit? I don't know. I'm just.
Good use of your prop.
How close are these two to the table? Can we hear them?
Oh yeah, you can definitely hear this.
He's gonna kind of look over at
What's her name? Dodie.
Oh, by the way, you two have looked over to see this conversation happening between Dodie and Jen. You glance back for a second. Craig Noodles is gone.
Sense.
Continue. That was important.
Can I hear him clattering around in the back? That makes me nervous. I don't know why.
Now you can. When he left, no sound.
Okay, alright. I'm gonna look over at the two of them. I assume if this is Mr. Merrick's.
Probably.
Oh no way! I thought he was dead.
See?
Apparently not, but I thought so too. I would have put money on it
Wait,
if I had any.
Not too late.
wait a second. Wait, let me read my notes.
I mean,
But
I
you
guess.
couldn't read, George.
Sorry, let me. Okay, there's nothing in there. Pick back up with, wow, I thought he was dead.
If this is Mr. Merrick's, which most assuredly is, I wonder if he probably popped out the same time we did, unless if he was there at all. I assume.
Probably got returned when we did.
If he's smart, he's going to lie low in a tavern somewhere, or leave the city like we should be doing. But Gore, the implications of the Cabatron being Mr. Merrick probably doesn't have it anymore. What I would wager. Probably not.
Probably not. But he might have some information for us.
Yeah, I sure would like to know about that divine magic storm that happened that apparently fucked everything up. It's been in the back of my mind for days now.
Mm-hmm.
Would very much like to know about that.
Fuck me.
He found us
Yo, Jen, you think you could find him?
Huh?
in that.
You think you could find him?
Me?
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean,
Looking
like,
for a guy about your height, pony legs?
oh shit, like my friend. But, like, not goat.
Yes.
Sick.
Yes, he'd like a centaur if he was just a pony.
Sick.
Compact.
Alright. Well, like, do you think he's gonna be up at the castle? Or do you think he's gonna be, like, somewhere else?
Well, everybody who's looking for him is at the castle, so probably not.
If you know, isn't he a Tenem scholar?
Yes.
Yes, if you know anybody that works for or is a student of the Tenem, that might be helpful.
Well,
Yeah,
like,
see
the meeting with the Tenem scholars was supposed to be today. Because it got pushed back, right?
Research. Yeah.
So... Because I think I heard about that when I was, like...
Let me go back there.
Can you shut the fuck up? Can you shut the fuck up? Can you shut the
Are our
fuck
neighbors
up?
doing stuff?
No, the fucking fly.
Oh. I'm like, I always forget we don't have upstairs neighbors.
We do not. We are on the top floor.
Listen. Lived in two places where I did have upstairs. Wait a minute. No, I lived in one place where I had upstairs neighbors for 2 years. And so now it's just been forever.
Anyway. I mean, like, I can try to go find him if you want.
That would be lovely.
I don't really know how to, like, contact you after I find him, though.
I mean, we'll probably be here for a couple of hours making a plan, right?
Yes.
So, we'll be here.
Okay. Well. Yeah, I mean, like, if you guys, like... I don't know. I'm gonna go see if I can, like, borrow somebody's car or some shit. I don't want to walk all that way. Anyway. Okay, I'll go see if he's alive or whatever.
You're a very good friend and the best assistant I've ever had.
She swings her ponytail.
Above and beyond the Call of Duty, truly, and I really hope that they give you your last paycheck.
I hope so. Otherwise, I'm suing bitches. She turns around and she walks out.
Bye, Jen.
Bye, Gar.
Aerithar does give a little wave at her.
Nice. Is Gale frozen for you guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Alright, cool. You know, alright, give me a second. Sorry, guys.
I like how fucked up
Oh.
the cams all get when he disappears.
My dice tower.
Be-ding.
Okay.
Hello.
Sorry about that.
Yay.
I 1 week went by, there were no issues.
Yeah, it said, you know what? Enough's enough. Time to cause problems. So, Jen walks out. She disappears off into the city somewhere. Doing Jen things. Who knows if she ever returns that glass. But you are left alone again in Crank Noodles' tavern. Sitting in the back corner. I'm assuming, Dodie, you go to sit down as well. Sitting in the back corner. Nobody else is here. So, you got the place to yourself. You can hear Crank Noodles clattering around in the kitchen. But that's about it.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right. My computer said we couldn't detect any input from your mic, and I was like, I'm gonna violent. So, it's fine. Aerithar, as per usual, has his head in his hands for a moment as he's thinking. I would really rather not leave town before I can speak to the person that I'm in town to speak to, really. Before I've had a chance to speak to them, you know. But I also don't want to go back to the castle grounds.
I severed that bridge pretty good. I don't think I can ever step foot there ever again.
No, like, he met us over there, and didn't we mention to him that go over here, so maybe...
I mean, he
He'll
met
show
us
up
here
here.
at one time.
Yeah, so maybe he'll just show up here. Hasn't for real died this time.
I mean, I'm glad he's not dead.
No, he has some valuable information. I also don't want to be here in the morning. I would rather leave before morning is my...
If he gives us any direction at all, I'll go that way. Otherwise, I'm fucking booking it south. I'm getting as far away from here as I can. So are we gonna talk about the everything? Or should we just leave it unsaid?
Well, I obviously concur with the idea of leaving town, at least for a bit. I would like to come back here to prevent, I don't know, I don't think. There's two different things happening here. There's what Mr. Saphael is pondering and will bring to this plane, and then there is the issue of the Cabochon and the government.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it's odd because some of it is connected in some ways and then it's not connected in other ways. I already came to capital to hypothetically prevent a genocide from occurring. And now there's another one on top of it. I think they're unrelated, but the fact that he has something that could cause even more damage, that's my main concern. But for us, kind of looks over at Gore, retrieve what we need. I think combating the other issue, in the trials that he has set up, that is a priority. Unfortunately, it never ends. But there are more eyes on us. There will be, there always has been. There's more involved here than I originally thought. So regrouping, wherever that might be, learning more information about your origins, it'll be more helpful than just walking back into the castle. And you've said something, so it's not like they don't know. But
If nothing else, there's a really extensive library on the divinities in Zeum. So I can at least try to figure something out. Fuck. Sorry, did you say you're here trying to prevent a war?
sorry. The Cabochon is potentially an explosive. It can be used to create mass destruction, maybe not necessarily a war. Right? Typically, genocide ends up in some sort of conflict, so yes.
Okay, can I maybe have a little bit more context for this? You just
Absolutely
said
sure.
everything. Everything. It's only a fair bargain, so I can know what the fuck is going on with you. So I need to know if I also need to be preventing a second genocide.
There's probably a lot more than just two on the horizon.
What?
I don't know.
Sorry. Oh my god. One of the flashbacks we saw in the mirror. Of the three figures, one of them being this, they're all very dressed like absolute freaks, gaudy, and and with the elvish woman at the front. That one.
Yeah.
Do you know? I'm going to guess no. Do you know anything about the magnates?
The what?
that woman.
I have a question for God, real quick.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Ooh.
It was all three of them, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That woman was Magnate Kelda. There are three sorcerer magnates that kind of run the Emolith on Zumarion.
Follow-up question for God. I assume I know none of this.
You know of Zumarion as the continent, and you know the Emolith as the basically ruling government within Zumarion, and you know that the Emolith conducts the worldwide guild of sorcerers.
Okay.
You know nothing about the inner workings of it, as that's kind of a thing that, like, you would know from working for the crown that there is a very tense relationship between basically every kingdom and Zumarion.
Makes sense.
There are alliances between a lot of the kingdoms and the Emolith, but that doesn't change the fact that they are very tense alliances, because I feel like Dodie would also probably know that Diremount claims itself to be the most powerful kingdom. Everybody kind of knows it isn't.
Oh, human hubris.
You know? That's kind of where her knowledge stands.
Makes sense.
Gore, you know there is a continent named Zumarion, and you know that the Emolith is on that bitch.
Thank you.
Hmm?
Right.
I'm really
trying to make sure I write down what she knows to distinguish it from one right now. So this Keldove woman who said something about... Where are my notes?
Oh yeah, hold on.
Something about ascending to the Magnate.
Yes. That would have been back when she ascended. So the person that she was talking to in that image would have been probably the king.
Probably. Hmm.
Magnate Keldove is... That leads to another concern that I have. Magnate Keldove is the Helm of the North. She runs the Northern Territory, and there was a... She's known as the Helm of the North, and one of the notes that you gave me that said that you showed me, to moonlight from sunlight, the helm close to me still.
Oh.
The coloring of the pendant is very much the coloring that people wear over in Sumerion.
Do we know that it was the king?
I asked you about this. I don't remember. Did I seem pretty confident about that? So I asked you about this after the session.
Because she was showing up in person, because she was being formal, because the other two were there, and because she was formally kind of coming to announce that she had become Magnate, you assume it has to be somebody way up there. And you, best guess, probably the king.
All three of them don't just show up to talk to anybody.
this leads to my concern, which is I'm sure that you know, working for the Crown to some extent, that things are very tense politically and during my time over in Sumerion, I discovered that the Cabochon, one of the things that just passed through my office, I was just, a tinkerer of sorts. I studied things, I'd write them down, papers, sent them to the next person. There was a rock, very, very similar to what I've described this entire time, and what I've been looking for, a different one that passed through, and I was interested in it, and I studied it further, and it is capable of mass destruction hitherto undreamt of, essentially. And it has already happened once.
Come again?
So, sorry. I'm essentially trying to find this loose one for someone else does, preferably a government, any sort of government, specifically that one, before that happens again. And I didn't like the fact that all three of them were there to speak to the king. I wasn't a super big fan of that. That just gives me the implication that there's probably not necessarily a stronger alliance than all of us probably think, but maybe a sort of dealing there. And there's probably far more eyes here in the capital than I surmised. So that's a concern that I have. In addition to, and now it's mixed in with what Mr. Sapphire is doing, is just adding chaos on top of it. That is my concern.
When you said this has already happened before, I need you to clarify on that.
I would if I could. I don't know where it happened. I just know it has. I saw it from a distance. Is that Gore raising his hand or Tyler?
No. I was gonna insight him.
Oh, go ahead. And you may make a deception roll or a persuasion roll if you wish.
What specifically are you inciting?
If if he saw it from a distance and he didn't know about it.
Okay. Can you both
Like the
text me
specifics.
your rolls? If you choose to make
God.
one. Because I think this is a fun system. I heard somebody doing this and I like it, so I'm trying it out. When it comes to deception checks. Or, not deception, when it comes to insight checks. We're trying this. See if I like it. Because I like insight checks. They're fun for me.
We didn't make enough of them last time.
No, we did not.
Oh, he's happy to see us. That must mean he's fine.
Oops.
Never inside check Eleanor once. God damn it.
Not once.
I'm asking you this question, Luke, and I'm confused.
Okay. Gore, you are listening to Erithar say these things, and you're trying to figure out if he's being truthful in the fact that he doesn't know where it was? Yes?
Yeah. Or like that he like had no part in it, or not, like basically what you said. Yeah.
Okay. As he's saying this, that he saw it from a distance and he doesn't really know where it was. He just kind of knows that it happened. He seems freaked out as he's talking about it, but he seems to be saying what's true to him. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, as Arathar is describing this thing, Dodie, it's kind of settling into your brain a little bit, and the magnitude of everything is kind of coming into perspective.
Yes. So you can understand why I'm a little anxious to leave town and get more information on your situation.
Oh.
And regroup to come back here. But also,
No,
I would like to know about...
No, I sure would like to know more about this storm that happened, and all the stuff that happened with it. I had just assumed that it was all for naught because I assumed Merrick's was a fucking corpse. So, this is good. This is great. Assuming
The storm is...
peace.
The storm is typically where you find the item. So the storm that happened is where they found it. The origin of the storms, other than that it is a divine nature, unknown, but the explosion and the storms are separate. Or I guess maybe enhanced.
Makes sense. Oh, joy.
Mr. Gore, is there any sort of information you want to lay out on the table? Maybe a bit about your situation?
Nah, that's not important.
It could not be more important.
Listen, it's really unimportant. Trust me.
I just don't
believe you.
believe that we're looking for the same item. And my reasoning is catastrophic. And yours is, it's not important. I don't believe that. But to each their own. I believe that what I've provided has been a bit of an eye-opener.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was a rock, so.
Put noodles in your bed. Right. So we're gonna hear out Merrick's, hopefully. Figure out what's next, and then I assume we leave under the cover of night.
Yes.
I like the plan.
Oh, it's important. On the way here, there was a fellow walking on the other side of the street as us, and Mr. Gore started to approach. He was cloaked, and Mr. Gore started to approach him and tried to grab him, and he slipped away. And so it seemed
Because I was hungry.
Because he was hungry. What'd you say?
Were you planning on eating them?
No. I missed because I was hungry.
Oh.
If I wanted to eat him, I wouldn't have missed, and then I wouldn't have been hungry anymore.
Got it. Thank you for reminding me, by the way. And she reaches into her bag, she pulls out the jar of pickles from her desk and starts eating.
Nice.
So, you tackled a person in an alleyway, and they slipped out of your grasp, and you're just now telling me.
Well, then it was going to be the first thing that I told you, but then Jen walked in, and there was that whole exchange, and then that. Anyway, obviously, we never saw his face, but He was very. He had a very unusual yellow-green pigment to his skin, and if he was taller, I would have thought he was a tiefling, but he was much shorter, and so I've narrowed it down to two things. Possibly a goblin, or because of the shade of skin, something I think is probably more likely with this current situation, something of Fey ancestry. With Fey ancestry. That probably seems more likely.
Is this ringing any bells?
Make an Arcana check?
Arcana?
I don't know, either Arcana or Nature. I'll let you choose.
Well, they're both bad.
Huh?
So. -1. 16? Let's say Arcana, because you said that first.
Sure. I mean, the options that he gave sounds about right. You could imagine that there's probably quite a few Fey types that could be green. And you also have never met a goblin. But you know that they, according to what you've heard, also are kind of green. Maybe? Yeah.
Great.
You're not well acquainted with either of those options.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you tackled this person. You tackled this person, they escaped. I assume they got a good look at you.
Probably, which is why I was thinking that's probably an even more of a reason to leave the city.
Okay.
Where we're going? You said something about your home, correct? Because your parents are whole situation and the questions about it.
Mm-hmm.
Where exactly do you live?
It's a town called Zeum. It's on the southern coast by the beach. It's a very religious spot, and you two are going to stick out like sore thumbs. Even more than here. Sorry about that. I stick out like a sore thumb, and I at least am human like most of my neighbors.
Human, okay. Yes, I suppose after
Blue,
living in
I have a
such
question for you.
Yeah, okay.
I'm about to text it to you.
Alright. Continue.
I suppose after living in such a vastly different populated continent, sticking out is something I will have to get used to, so.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
I get the occasional odd look, even over there, so.
That's
This is so something.
Why is it doing that?
Bucky. That's why.
Okay.
Nice. About this time, you hear a pot fully fall off the stove behind the counter. Then you hear frantic scrambling and claws on the tile as if he was like running for a second like it spooked him. And then the sound of what you can only assume is somebody on the floor attempting to scoop noodles back into the pot.
That reminds me. I'm going to run upstairs and get my own things together. I probably don't want to just leave it lying in my room, so I'll be just a moment. I'll stand up and, as proudly as he can, with what little dignity he has, go up to his half a room, noodle up above the stairwell, and clear off his conspiracy wall and shove it all in his bag.
You make your way. You make your way up into your room and start to pull down all of the pinned bits on the wall, and clear off the covers that you had put over things. Around this time, while you're up there, the door to the tavern is thrown open. And Gore and Dodie, you watch as Jen bursts through the door. Still has that glass in her hand, surprisingly. Looks back through the door, looking much more frantic than you've ever seen Jen look before. Throws it on the ground. It shatters. Arathar, you hear a glass being thrown on the ground, shattering into a million pieces before Jen just goes, "Fucking scatter!" and then books it out the door.
The window that I have upstairs, can I just climb out of that? Yeah.
You throw open the window. It's like a rectangular thin one, but you're skinny. You can just go right through it. You pull your bag. It takes a minute. You're like hanging by your bag out the window for a second before it finally pulls off and you land on the slanted part of the roof and slide down.
I imagine there's a big window next to us.
Totally. And there's also the side door that's locked.
Yeah, what do I see out there?
Make a perception check.
Oh boy.
While he's doing that, is there anywhere to the side of Crank Noodle's Tavern that I can hide or like slip behind or something?
The slanted roof goes down into that alley bit that's connected to the side courtyard that you had seen that shadow disappear in. If you wanted to slide down over there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
It's gonna be a 17.
17? It's hard to see from this angle because the windows look out into the courtyard, but there looks to be a group of about 3 men approaching the tavern.
Do they look to be in armor?
What was your perception check?
17.
17. Some of them, yes.
Like guard apparel?
One of them,
It's like
yes.
hooded.
One of them more casual armor. One of them no armor.
Okay. Let's scram! And he gets up and runs out the side door.
Do you just break the lock on it?
He breaks the deadbolt off.
Just, dude, I'm not even gonna make you check for that. I know you do it.
She's gonna grab her stuff and run after him.
Cool.
Yeah, Arador's booking it down past the courtyard.
See you later, Stinky!
You all run out through the alleyway, through the courtyard. Arathar, you look back and see Crank Noodles just peering above the countertop and then disappearing behind it. Dodie, you run out after the two of them. They have booked it down off into the side street a little bit, and as you run after them, you look back and see the men starting to approach as well.
Do any of these men look familiar?
Make a perception check.
Oh boy. It's a dirty 20. 2
of them definitely work at the castle. You don't know their names,
Right.
but you know that they work at the castle. The 3 of you, in varying instances, round the corner and see Jen is just standing there in the middle of the alleyway looking frantic. fucking hurry up. And she just starts running.
Running.
Yep, running. Fuck
Sweet.
it. Oh my god.
You all begin to weave your way through alleyways as Jen just apparently is leading you further into the darker parts of the city. The sun is lowering and it's beginning to cast shadows in these alleyways, creating easier places to hide and be less seen. As she continues to run, she slows down a little bit. She is surprisingly fast.
She's, she's very aerodynamic.
Yeah, no wind resistance.
That's a halfling.
She slows down a little bit so that the three of you are running directly behind her, and she starts to explain as she's running. Okay, so holy shit, fuck, wow. Shit's fucking crazy. I think I know where he is. There's a hole in the wall. I think he went through that.
What?
I don't know, but I think he's totally about to get fucked up. I didn't really particularly see him. I totally crashed the cart that I borrowed.
Yo, can you take us to the hole?
Yeah. And she just turns and starts running a different direction.
Follow her.
As you're running, you pass through a bunch of different alleyways, and you're starting to realize how comfortable she is in the city. She runs by, and she has run in front of the three of you again, slows down for a second, reaches through a window, grabs a lollipop, puts it in her mouth, and keeps running. As she's running, she begins to call back again. I don't know who those fucking dudes were, but they were definitely after you, and I think two of them were definitely guards, even though one is totally off duty right now. But he's a total dick. I've seen him around campus before. He's totally an asshole.
Fuck.
And it's just running. It takes you guys less time than it normally does to reach up near the Crown Square, but you are much more out of breath this time. As you reach the Crown Square, she dips off to the side again, disappearing into a different alleyway. As she begins to run down one of these small, nearly single-file places, you see at the end of this alleyway, there is what looks to be a fruit cart completely blocking the way. She is not slowing down whatsoever. And as she runs, you hear her just start to yell at the person, "Hey, fucking move your cart! Holy shit, get out of the way! 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 Get out of the way!" And you see this person who's sitting on a box, reading a newspaper, look up, eyes wide as saucers, and just start to scramble to move his fruit. He moves away just in time for her to slip past his cart as he just pushes himself against the wall as the three of you just run past him.
Like a stampede.
You run out the back of this small alleyway and around the side and see yourself on the edge of the gate walls that surround the entirety of the castle grounds. She is continuing to run past into more of the residential area before she starts to slow down and creep through the shadows again. At this point, you are in more of the residential area, kind of the nicer area nearer to the castle, and she starts to dip into some of the shadows, beginning to sneak instead of run. If you would like to make stealth checks at this time, this would probably be the point to do it.
Why am I even worried?
Oh, thank God. 17?
17?
21.
21?
Natural 20.
Hell yeah. The three of you begin to follow Jen down along the shadowed edge of this humongous stone wall. She dips between the shadows, kind of choosing her steps carefully, and appearing a little bit more nonchalant than she is directly hiding. Gore completely, surprisingly, disappears into the shadows, nearly blending in with the wall as he is also stone-colored. Arathar, you slip behind the rest of the group into the shadow that not only Gore is casting, but the rest of the buildings, and nearly completely disappear as well. Dodie, you disappear pretty well, but are surprised by how well your companions do so as well. The three of you follow Jen a bit further before you see, down along this curved wall, a portion of rock that appears to have crumbled slightly. The closer you get, the more you see that pieces of the stone have kind of been moved off to the side and very neatly put in place, like somebody felt bad about it. And a very small hole, probably about pony-sized, is created in the wall. Jen stops looking around to make sure nobody's watching and starts to kind of whisper back, yeah, so, this. Somebody thinks they probably saw a person that was probably part pony go through this. So, I don't know what the fuck is happening, and I know that you probably don't want to go back in there, but we are at the portion of the garden wall or whatever that, like, nobody's at, so I don't know if he's, like, hiding in the garden or some shit, but, like, somebody saw him go in there.
I feel like you guys should go first because I'm probably going to get stuck.
She takes a very deep breath, just kind of resigning herself. Okay. Starts to climb through.
I don't know who this dude is, but he's kind of an idiot.
Most smart people are idiots.
True. You kneel down and begin to pull your way through the wall. It's a bit of a tight squeeze, but you manage not to completely scrape up yourself on the rocks as you pull yourself through.
If I can attempt to follow her, I can do that. I'll go with her as well.
Okay. You pass through as well, attempting not to scrape the same parts of yourself that you had scraped on the rocks when you apparently fell from somewhere when you jumped planes, and you manage to get through relatively easily. Again, bit of a tight squeeze, and it takes you a minute, but you do it.
Gore before he goes in the hole. Or...
Hello?
Jen, your cardio is impressive.
Thank you.
Keep it up. And he's gonna attempt to go through the hole. And also get out of here and stay safe.
Okay. So you guys don't die, seriously. Fucking awful. And you hear her pitter-patter of footsteps leave. Gore, I'm gonna need you to make some sort of check for this one. The other two, it almost didn't work, but it worked. This one, you're gonna have to work for.
Oh, what kind of check is it?
If you are trying to brute your way through, you could maybe do athletics. Otherwise, acrobatics might work better.
He's trying to brute force his way through.
I suspected.
I need that modifier. It's gonna be an 18.
18. Cool. You get your head through, and you get one arm through, and then you're realizing that your shoulder is fully hitting into a different stone, and you're kind of trying to, like, squeeze a hand through, and it's not really working. So you kind of resign yourself to the fact that this is about to hurt, and you fully just flex your bicep outward and just pop a stone out of place. And then just pull your way through. It hurts. It's not comfy. But you manage to get through it. It takes you a hot second. And if anybody happened to walk on the other side, it is definitely a strange sight. But you get through the wall eventually.
I would like to immediately make a perception check in the
Advantage.
garden. Oh, thank you. That's good, because the little one was a 4. 24?
24. Okay. You step out into this garden area of the back part of the castle grounds. It looks to be maintained enough that it still functions as a garden, though you can see it once was lavish and beautiful, and now the plants that are here are more retainer plants than anything. As well, looking around, you don't see any people immediately, and you don't really hear any people. You hear the sound of a fountain a bit further down, but you do see ahead of you what look to be hoof prints and a statue knocked over and broken in a couple pieces, and some skid marks in the grass.
I'm gonna go towards where the skid marks on this. The skid marks in the grass are.
Mm-hmm.
And look, are there bushes or anything? Or
as you get closer and kind of round around the edge of this broken statue, you can see that the skid marks in the grass look like, I'm going to say with as high as your roll is, that you probably can figure out a little bit of what's happening here. They're kind of deep and dragged across the grass as if either somebody tripped or dragged something for a second. And then a bit further down the grass, there is an indent as if something was dropped. And then a bit further down the grass, you see a set of very torn up hoof prints darting off in a different direction. And you see from where you are, kind of over the crest of one of these hedge walls around this part of the garden, the roof of the Sacrosanct Annex.
Aerithur's gonna. He realizes where it's going, and I hate this man.
Oh, damn it.
With the perception check, can I tell if there's any people around the annex right now, or can I hear anything?
You'd probably have to get closer to the hedge. From this distance, you're kind of seeing the annex at a distance.
Hate.
Oh
God.
He's gonna kind of sneak over there to get closer to the hedge, if we can hear or see anything.
You listen down, and you don't hear anybody by the annex. It seems that there isn't much activity around that whatsoever, and kind of peering around the edge of the hedge, you can see, as you probably suspected, there are no lights within the windows of the annex. And as it's getting further into the afternoon and evening, it seems to be that the castle grounds are quieting down as well. You see less people walking through the grounds over near the atrium on the opposite side of the annex.
I kind of look at Dodie.
I would rather not go back in there. But it seems like if they're preoccupied outside of the castle.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Just gonna start walking in that direction, I guess.
Okay. You begin
What's
to
my other option?
you begin to creep around the edge of the hedge again,
Over the hedge.
and down
Amazing.
towards the Sacrosanct Annex. If you guys could make new stealth checks for me,
Uh-oh.
as we are in a new environment.
So,
Not bad.
Oh,
15.
18?
What was yours, MK?
18.
18.
15.
15.
Twinsies.
Okay. The three of you begin to make your way down, kind of not using the standard paths, around the side of the annex instead of towards the front. As you begin to move your way past some of the bushes and shrubs and hedges down towards the annex, Dodie, if I could have you make a perception check.
I'd love to do that. 15?
15. As you are passing towards the annex, you give a little cursory glance over towards the courtyard and towards the atrium and the opposite side where the towers above the municipal offices are. And you see less guards than you're used to.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few, like you see maybe one or two, but normally there's like certain stations where they are, you know, and it's just casual of them standing around most of the time because the people who are let into the grounds are let into the grounds. So even now, the guards that are stationed out near the courtyard, opposite from you, don't really seem to be paying much attention, but the other places that you normally can see a guard in a distance, there aren't really. Something that just stands out to you.
Yeah, sure.
You round the rest of the way to the back of the annex. You can see that it is darkened inside and that nobody seems to be over here.
Hang on just a second. Oh, fuck me. Boop doop 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 doop. Oh boy. Real quick as an action.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on. Let me just double check. Sorry. Yes, I would like to use my divine sense again, just to double check for good and evil. You know.
Okay.
I'm not paranoid.
How far is that?
60 feet.
Okay. Kind of taking a moment to attempt to school your adrenaline and reach out again. That barrier is no longer there. What you felt in the Shadowfell is not like a pane of glass between where you are and where you were. And so you reach out easier this time and begin to call on that sense. Opening your eyes again, you don't feel anything out of the ordinary within the radius that you know.
Right. Cool. Okay. Alrighty, Rooster. Well, in that case, I guess I'm just gonna, walk inside.
You open the door slowly to the annex and begin to walk through into the darkened interior. Now that none of the lights have been lit. None of the sconces have been attended to. It is quite dark inside. Some of the blinds or curtains have been drawn. And it is really strange to see your office at nighttime with no lights on. It's not quite nighttime, but it feels like it because all the curtains are drawn. It's weird. And you can almost hear Jen's voice in your head saying something about it, but you're too busy. So,
as she walks in, she's also going to draw her axe just in case.
makes sense.
Can I ready an action?
Sure.
Yeah, cool.
Are you also stepping inside?
I've been following her, so I'll probably let her step in first, just because it's her space to see. But I'll probably wait like right outside.
So kind of like in the doorway?
Ready. Yeah, just outside of the doorway.
Okay.
Like, you know, when you're like next to a doorway and you're like trying to look in and stuff, that kind of thing.
Gore, are you going in? Or are you standing
Gore's
outside?
going in.
Okay. What are you readying an action for? Like, what triggers your action?
Okay, I don't know. I was just, I don't, maybe not necessarily. Never mind.
Okay.
Never mind.
Okay. The two of you step in, Erithar kind of standing guard at the door in the doorway, letting a bit of the low afternoon light scatter through. As you step in, you can hear your footsteps kind of echo a little bit in the pretty empty annex, as it tends to be. It's quiet and odd. Are you looking for anything?
Pony?
Make a perception or investigation check.
Let's go with investigation, I guess.
If the two of them, if they pass through the doorway with like no issue, like nothing just jumps out and gets them, he'll start to follow them.
Okay.
Kind of letting two of them go first.
Let's see. That's a 15.
15? Okay. Also, this one. Yeah. Okay. You step inside, and before walking fully into the kind of central area of the annex, past the string of offices, some of which never used, you stop for a moment to listen. You can't really hear anything. So you walk a bit further, walking a bit closer towards the offices, thinking maybe he slipped in there a little bit. Maybe just out of sight. Maybe he's really quiet. And as you pass by where Jen's desk is in the center of the room, you do see a very large envelope sitting on the counter, with papers kind of messily crammed in it.
She sighs and she picks it up.
Erithar,
She
can you make
opens
a
it.
dexterity saving throw?
What?
Yeah, sure. And
10. Cool. Dodie, as you sigh for a moment, you pick up the envelope and start to look back towards where Gore and Arathar are following you, having just come through the door. And you watch suddenly as a figure suddenly is looming behind Arathar, grabs him by the shoulders, and pulls him out the door. And just disappears from view.
A looming figure in the shadows?
Kind of in shadow because you're inside and he's facing into the darkness, but a figure of sorts, of some sort, that just grabs Arathar and pulls him through the doorway and around the corner.
I actually would scream or something, right?
Yeah, Arathar
Or at least go, ah!
Yeah, I mean, it's a very startled noise. I'd also like to cast Chill Touch.
Yeah, okay.
Which is, God, that's a Constitution? That's a con save. Yeah. Wait, no, it's to hit. I always forget Chill Touch is to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Dirty 20.
Okay. As you are suddenly pulled backwards through the doorway again, getting hit again with a light, with the light coming from the nearly setting sun at this point, you realize as your back kind of hits into armor for a second, that you have been grabbed by a person, and reach up and cast just any spell that you can think of in the moment. And as you feel that necrotic hand sink into the chest behind you, you hear as you are being pulled further along the grass towards the main castle.
I think Gore would fucking bust out the door at this point.
Yeah, Gore, you run out the door and turn and see Arathar being dragged back by the shoulders by a fully armored guard and another standing at the opposite corner of the annex, watching the one being pulled and suddenly seeing you burst out of the doorway.
Yeah, and he's immediately sprinting towards Arathar.
Yeah.
And just kind of flailing, kind of trying to break free, just being like, unhand me. That.
If Gore catches up to the guard, he's gonna fucking like shoulder or like clothesline him.
Yeah, nice.
But like take him down to the ground.
The one carrying Arathar or the other one?
The one carrying Arathar.
Okay. As you run, he's managed to drag Arathar basically to the doorway of the main part of the castle. Not quite to it, but like basically there. And you can see the door is currently standing open, having been propped open. The other guard is now looking at you, suddenly starting to barrel towards them, and starts to be like, oh shit! The other guard looks up for a moment.
Speed.
The other guard looks up for a moment, dragging Arathar, and just sees, just for a split second, just incoming, as you just fucking clothesline him. Make an attack roll.
Oh boy. Use this one. That is
Go ahead.
a 23.
23. Yep, that hits. You just knock this dude right back on his ass. Arathar, you fall on top of the guard as he hits the ground and start to scramble up. As Gore, you have now pushed this guard fully to the ground, as the other guard is now beginning to approach. Dodie, what are you doing?
Oh, excellent question. First and foremost, she is going to take the envelope and put it under her chainmail, but like on top of her shirt.
Nice.
So like, put it in there nice and secure. And then, oh my god. Real quick, is it just the two guards or are there more?
You have not seen them as they are outside.
Oh, son of a bitch.
You just saw Arathar get snatched and then Gore go running after him.
Oh my god. Okay.
Like the Three Stooges.
This is the the point where I'm going to deny my instincts, which are to snoop, and go be a paladin, and starts running after my party members.
Yeah.
Axe in hand.
You run out around the corner and see as Gore has just knocked the shit into this guard as Arathar is scrambling up off the ground as another guard is beginning to approach them. Make a perception check.
Sure thing. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You only see the two guards. But as well, as you begin to run up to this commotion, you do see another figure start to frantically and in a very concerned manner start to run towards that other doorway out from the offices of the castle. You immediately recognize this person as Victor, who suddenly is running out to see what the fuck is happening and sees this whole commotion and has not quite made eye contact with you yet.
I also would like to say Gore at this point will put a foot, or like stand up and put a foot on the guard's helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's gonna fucking stomp it in and point at the other guy approaching.
Okay.
Arathar at this point has probably scrambled to his feet and has started to try to run away back in the direction. But has noticed I don't know if he's noticed the other figure kind of approaching and sees Gore pointing and kind of stops.
At this point, you notice as fully that other guard that was approaching just stops and starts to look around a little bit, like he's really considering just running.
Hey, no, you stay there!
About this time, the rest of you notice as Victor is now standing in the doorway like, what the fuck? He looks up finally and sees you, Dodie, and is like, he points over to the two guards, the one standing with his hands up and the other one fully on the ground with Gore's foot in his face. And just... Get out. I don't care where the fuck you go, just get out of my sight. And the one guard with his hands up immediately books it towards the courtyard. The other one on the ground with Gore's foot on his face kind of reaches up like maybe he's gonna start to push your foot off, but is also like, please don't stop my head in.
Yeah, I think he'll take his foot off. Get out of
He
here.
just crawls and brings himself up into a run and just starts booking it again, chasing now the other guard towards the courtyard as Victor just...
God, the guards in this place suck.
Please, come this way before somebody else sees you. I don't care what
He's
the
gonna
fuck you
turn
do
back-
after that. I really don't care. Just please get in here before somebody else sees you.
Go look at Arathar.
Insight check.
Insight check. Do it.
Yeah. Sorry. Dirty 20.
He's being 100% right now.
Okay. He kind of slowly nods as he starts to walk. Follow him. He'll kind of walk in front.
He leads the three of you in, closing the door, and kind of looking back towards where the guards had run off. Fucking idiots. He walks a bit further and begins to turn the corner into kind of the main Crown offices area and begins to see people approaching from the opposite direction, opens a door, and just steps inside.
Step inside.
Yeah, I guess we follow.
God damn it. Okay, fine.
Okay. You step inside and realize that this is a room that you've never been in before, as you have just stepped into the Grand Hall. It is completely empty, and the light coming through the window casts a large orangish yellow hue across the ground through the window. The room itself steps down in the center into a somewhat rectangular marble tile floor where you know discussions to take place before the crowned throne on the opposite side in front of the window. Around the edges where you stand now, there are seats and small tables used to hold the audience for the crown announcements and disputes. You've never been in here, but you've definitely heard about it before, and as you step in, it is quiet and secluded. Where have you been? No one could find you. You just disappeared, and the Tenem Scholars meeting had to be delayed again. What has happened?
Gore moves himself and places himself in front of the door.
Will you please just talk to me?
She is, like, visibly fuming.
Mm-hmm.
She's been laughing everything off all day. She looks mad.
Anything.
Out of curiosity, were you ever planning on telling me what you were doing with my work?
By what do you mean?
I mean, you've been in there with me for hours, every week, telling me that this is interesting, but you're going to keep it under wraps. That the time is going to come. And you've just been what? Carting it off? Billing it? And not telling me that's what you were going to do with it?
Do what with it? I have been telling you that the time will come because it will. Your work deals with delicate natures. If you would just tell me what you mean, then maybe we could discuss this.
I'm talking about books and books and books on divination and my goddess and prophecies up in the king's fucking office.
What? What did you do? Why were you... By the gods, what did you do? The king's interests do not play into what I have told you. When were you lurking around the king's study?
She's gonna look back at the other two, almost like asking for permission to talk in more detail.
Cord is one of these.
River kind of looks at Dodie and back up at Victor and then to Dodie and nods.
The room that you were so worried about me going into and being spotted going into. You know what happened in there? We fell through a fucking mirror. He pulled us through the fucking mirror. And that's fine. It's fine. Because that's what she wanted for me. To figure this all out. To talk to him. To figure... And he has an exact replica of the castle. Except it includes parts that don't exist anymore. And that's what I found. I was not lurking around. I was not spotted. I was not whatever else you're concerned with. But I was right.
You do not understand the priorities here that I am trying to enact on this situation to keep it from going off of the fucking rails.
That's right, I don't fucking understand because nobody will explain anything to me.
Well then listen to me, and he walks towards you some. As he steps towards you, he reaches his hands out towards you as if he's going to grasp at your own. Before you hear what sounds like a click on the tile behind you in this set down area, this lowered area of tile in the sunlight. And as your eyes glance up, you hear a voice call out. Victurnus? He freezes.
His full name.
You've got to be fucking kidding me. The three of you look past him over his shoulder as he starts to hunch in a little bit and grit his teeth, and you see stepping out of the shadow into the sunlight down onto this lowered portion of floor, Queen Miel.
Yeah.
Time to riz it up, baby.
She has a black sheer shawl around her shoulders that she is gripping at and looking towards the four of you in confusion, brows knitting together, circles under her eyes, even deeper now in the shadow from the sunlight. Miel, this... What is this? No. No. You can... Look... Fucking, I had it all figured out. I really did. Why are they here? What are you doing? She looks up and makes eye contact with you, Dodie, and you see something like fire lit behind her eyes. She looks back towards Victor. Answer me! What in... Fine. He steps back from you, Dodie, looking back towards her. This is wonderful. Neither of you could just listen
to what I had to say, and since no one can find the comprehension to listen to my commands, since this false ideal of truth seems so fucking important, you watch Victor step back from all of you and just throw his hands up, grip at his hand, and in a swift motion you watch him rip a clear ring off from his finger, and an illusion drops. He throws the ring onto the ground, and you watch his features shift instantly. His graying brown hair, pulled back into a slight ponytail, is suddenly longer. His beard more full, and the vibrant blue tint of his eyes dulls. Though his features overall do not stray greatly from what you have seen again and again and again in your work life, he suddenly becomes different. Yet Dodie, he remains familiar. Something deep in your gut twists for a moment as you suddenly remember these features. Painted features, as you recognize King Reinwald Alois Victornus Diremake. There! Are we satisfied now? Does the truth heal your aches, or does it signify the complete consternation you all value over my word? I have been patient and I have been guiding, but I cannot allow you, as he points towards your party, childish fools, to run about with knowledge about my kingdom as if it were no concern to the crown. You watch the queen behind him suddenly stand up as if she has just been accosted. She puts her shoulders back and she looks up to the three of you again with disgust. You liar! All of you people choose to make a mockery of me. If anyone is a fool, it was me, to think that you were telling truths, to think you had not betrayed me again and again, and to give this chance when I had already known our lives were cursed and ruined. You both disgust me. She turns and begins to run out of the room, towards a stairwell that you did not see behind herself. He turns suddenly, grips his hands up. Miel, just fucking listen. God fucking damn it. He throws a chair across the room. Fine. Well, since it's just, the four of us now, what did he apparently want from you? Tell me at least that.
He's got plans for trials on your kingdom, and whoever survives gets to live. And he wanted me to join him. And I said no. Is that something at least?
So he is alive and planning war.
Yes.
You see that you have no proof, but that I am taking your word for it. And assuming that anything that we have done has meant something, then you are telling the truth. If that devil wants a war, he'll get one. Now take your strays and leave.
Tyler, you're making me smile.
Live audience reactions.
I will not send my guards after you, but if I see you peering into business that is not yours, we will have problems. Now get out. He turns and begins to walk towards the staircase, where his wife just disappeared.
Makes sense. What the fuck did I do to her? Oh my god. Well, she feels really fucking stupid right now.
Apparently Tyler was the only one that maybe theorized it, so...
Oh boy.
You three...
She does not look either of them in the eye as she starts walking out the door they came through.
You open the door into the Crown Office hallways, and it is quiet out there. People seem to have been dispersed. And you make your way towards the front gates relatively easily, unless there is anything else that you would like to do in this godforsaken castle.
No, God, no.
Cool. You leave through the front gates, down the path, and back into the city.
I'm assuming Gore and Arathar, you follow?
Yeah.
You make your way out into the city. It is now beginning evening time, and the sun is starting to set. Where are you guys going?
Dude, that's a good question.
Oh boy.
If Doty kind of starts to wander aimlessly, Arethar's gonna start kind of branching off in a direction where he knows like a stable is and like carts and stuff are, to get us out of the city.
Okay.
She's not wandering aimlessly. She's very much like on autopilot, and you start moving, she's like, alright, guess we're doing this now.
You pass through the streets easily. No one stops you. No one seems to be trailing you. Arathar, if you could make... what kind of check is this? We're going to say investigation check to make your way through the winding streets towards where you think you remember carts and stables to be.
15.
15. Okay. It takes you a little bit as you begin to walk. Are any of you making any checks at this time while I pull up things about carts and stables?
Yeah, I'll make a perception check.
Yeah, or will perceive. That's a natural 20.
Good, because that's a nat 1.
The duality of man. Of woman and lizard.
Yeah. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. Yep. You walk for a while. Gore, you do not notice anybody seeming to trail you. As you walk further into the city, you can see that the further away you get from the Crown Square, the more normal the nightlife begins to be. It seems that there is some tenseness around the castle that was affecting the surrounding areas. Out further into the city, it seems to be returning to normal, and that paranoia of being followed is lessening now. I would, however, like you to make another check. If you...
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that one was pretty good too. 18.
Distrust and intrigue. And at the end, you start to get this deeper feeling that pieces are missing. For you.
you all continue. Arathar, you make your way finally over to the part of the city where you know these things to not only be held but also be sold. And you can see that many of the places are starting to wind down a little bit for the evening, except for, like where you go and stock your horses and you put your carriages and carts and stuff like that, which are still very much open as people are coming in to drop stuff off to then walk directly across the street into a tavern, But you are approaching now what appears to be one of the much larger stables of the city.
Okay. Just approach anyone who seems like they're working like the books or whatever. Like, get to kind of request things. Just anyone working.
There's kind of like a wooden stand off to the side made into the stable walls, and you can see kind of like a late 20s, early 30s human man just kind of like writing something down in a really large ledger book. And he kind of like looks up when you approach.
Hello. One cart, one horse, please.
All right. You got any preferences?
No. Well, the three of us, just a cart that won't break under the weight of three of us. Specifically that one. Points over at Gore.
Cheap or fancy?
Cheap is fine.
All right. He walks away for a second to go look at the options. All right. He walks back. I've got a horse that'll probably be able to pull the three of you. He's kind of stupid. And I got a shit cot that won't break. Does that sound good?
Yes, that's fine.
Alright.
Whatever.
I could do about... well, like 45 gold?
It's fine. He, That's fine. And he turns over and he looks at Joey.
Why are you looking at me?
I have 20.
We never established how much money she has. But she gets a government paycheck, so I assume it's not a lot.
Yeah, 1 second.
Oh my gosh.
45 gold.
Not a whole lot of money in that prophesying.
These are his savings.
I love how you don't even look at Gore.
No, he's not gonna.
He's paid for everything so far.
She works for the government, but she's not a politician by any means.
No, God, no.
She probably... hold on. God, I have to do math. God damn it. Yeah, this sure is a thing that we never discussed, huh?
No, it sure is.
20 is just the random bullshit I had on my D&D Beyond thing, so I'm just...
on her person, she would probably have...
She took her entire life savings out of the apartment.
This is true. This is true. So she would probably have... okay, assuming she doesn't really go very many places. I would assume on her person, if she took literally all of her money, she would probably have about 60 gold on her.
Hardy.
Say 65 because she never goes anyplace.
That's so funny. Thank you so much. You're my hero. She's gonna ponder for a second. And then dig out the appropriate coinage and hand it to Arathar.
Okay, so he has 20, and then, what was it, 45?
So she hands 25 over.
That's it.
I saved.
Third of my life saving.
That's everything.
Yeah. You turn around and hand the coin over to the guy. He writes down in his ledger book, dipping down and apparently putting the money away before standing up, writing on a slip of paper, handing it to you, and then just starting to walk towards a horse, looking back, expecting you to follow.
Follow.
Yeah. Horse. Caught. Stupid as a brick. See you later. Walks away. It does look like a very hardy horse. Its eyes, very strange looking.
No thought. Head empty.
Blue giving us off the walls types of animals.
I have to. It's a requirement. Plus, this horse will be dead in 5 days, so it's fine.
What if we don't leave him anywhere?
Those were his life savings.
Inevitable.
We're keeping this.
Okay.
It's a third of hers. Granted, her life is a lot shorter than his, but still.
That's fair. That's fair. And also, you guys aren't borrowing horses this time. You bought one.
Borrow.
Yeah. Whoops, we lost
And then
it.
they died horribly.
It got snatched by the woman.
Oh, the
Arathar's gonna kind of look at Gore. Are you good with animals?
That feels like a racist question.
Sure.
What? We seem like indoor people, that's why I'm asking him. Do you mind driving and handling the animal? If it is a bit stupid, then maybe you could get a good hold.
I mean, I could give it a shot.
Absolutely. That's a good man.
What have you done?
Clamors into the car.
I'm afraid.
This is great.
Gore.
Anthony handling is like, it's -1.
Hers.
You don't want to know what mine is.
Is it -5?
No, it's actually not bad. I read the one below it.
Oh my god.
Oh god. Gore's going to hop up and attempt to drive the horse.
Okay, you get the horse all stocked up on the cart. As you do so, it kind of turns its head back and looks at you.
He's gonna reach up and pat it on the head.
Oh, it's Jack Torrance! Don't let it back!
It looks back. You get up onto the seat of the cart, holding the reins, and make an animal handling check.
You know, that makes sense.
One of these days, you're gonna give us an animal that is. We're gonna have to chew up grass and spit it into the hole where its mouth used to be.
That's gonna be an 11.
11. Cool.
Over 10.
Okay. The other two of you get on the cart and see Gore get up in there and hold the reins. Go. The horse kind of makes a wider stance. And then starts going. It just took him a second to load. And starts to very slowly move out of the city.
Oh my god.
Core, you don't really know where you're going.
Nope, no idea.
Due south.
He just starts to maneuver through the streets. At a certain point, the two of you, I'm assuming, are sitting on the back of the cart. There is
the
a
signs.
portion of it that is covered, but it's about 50-50. Half of it's covered, half of it's not. So, it is what it is.
Oh man. As soon as they are schmoving, she's going to reach under her shirt, pull out the envelope, and start going through it.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, Aerith.
He's gonna look over your shoulder and look at it.
Yeah.
You pull out this envelope. Gore, can I get, just real quick, can I get either a investigation or survival check?
I'm gonna do a survival.
Okay.
It's at another 11.
Okay, cool.
Oh god.
Cool.
Oh no.
Dodie, you begin to go through these stacks of papers. 1 second while I find them in my notes.
I have to pee real quick.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, let's take a break, actually. We've been going for a while.
Piss
I would
break.
like something to drink.
Yeah, get it.
Okay, let's see. This one. There we go. Okay, so we're back. So I'm going to start the music up, but we're going to try this one, maybe, since we're outside now. Do the thing. Do what I want you to do. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Just a little carriage sounds for ambiance.
Now I can hear it. I can hear it now.
Hey. So, Dodie, you begin to go through these stacks of muddled about, shoved around papers.
Do you have it all written out, or do I need to be copying?
One second. Not really.
Okay.
Part of it is written out,
I got you.
but it might... I'll explain later why my notes look this way. But,
I just need to know if I need to type.
yeah, probably. I would suggest so. You begin to go through these papers. And before I get into the meat of that, Gore, you are making my way downtown, walking fast, faces passing upon me. I can't find my way out of the city. It takes you a while to find a main road, and then you just kind of, trying not to garner the attention of the two behind you, start to be like, okay, the sun's there, it's setting there, we're going south? Okay, so this way, so I'm gonna keep going on this road. So you just start going. So it takes you much, much longer than it should, but you do eventually make your way towards the edge of the city.
Thank goodness.
So, while all of that is happening, Dodie, you begin to go through these papers, which are a mess. You don't know what happened to Merrick's after he dropped this off. Maybe he was in there. Maybe he's dead again. Who knows? But you have a bunch of papers, which all seem to be written in his handwriting, very sporadically. A lot of them are written, like, sideways on the piece of parchment, or, like, they're crumpled up, or they're shoved in there weird, or they're not in order, so it takes you a minute to really organize everything. But eventually, you find this one page that just kind of starts at the top and starts going, and you're assuming maybe this is where he started. I'm not going to do the voice because this is a lot of information.
Sure.
But just imagine, if you will, if you want to. Or just as if you're reading it. So, he kind of starts at the top. This particular artifact was found quite recently. An incredible storm had passed along the southeastern coast, and the magnitude of it nearly ripped the shores apart. When the winds slowed, the sturdy plants were lively. Even more plants than normal were embedded into the cliffed cove, and there was a hole blown into the side of one of the massive cliff sides. The debris had to be cleared partially as there kept being this strange sound emanating from this new, basically, cavern that had been created by the storm. And when the rocks and debris were pulled back, sat perfectly unharmed was a larger piece of stone with this artifact embedded into the surface. The artifact itself was basically unharmed, and all of the plants surrounding it were similarly unharmed, though the rest of the beach was nearly decimated. Part of the coast had experienced a normal downpour, while the rest of it had been completely chaotic and destructive. It was brought back to the Tenem, as that was the closest place to take it, and the locals thought that that would probably be the best place to figure out what it was, because they just didn't want it near their towns anymore. As well, the Tenem scholars wanted it so that it wouldn't get swept out to sea in case the tide came up too much. The townspeople debated on what it was, but didn't really honestly care. They just thought that the storm was probably a Periorc storm and therefore wasn't their business, and handed off the artifact to people who probably would know more. Of course, he writes that his team, of course, had huge arguments and discussions over whether it could be a Periorc storm or not. Some of them saying that not every weird storm has to be a Periorc storm, while the others being like, are you fucking stupid? What else kind of storm does this? But, of course, he writes that he can't believe that it was anything else. And he does not have as much education in the realm of Periorc, but it's impossible to ignore how chaotic the storm was. Then he writes that the stone was taken to the Tenem to be studied for a while, and it wasn't, though it appeared to be embedded in the stone that it sat in on the beach, the locals were able to pick it up very easily and move it. And so brought into the Tenem, it was held in a sturdy box, basically. He describes the stone to be roughly spherical, but not completely symmetrical in shape. And the material itself was almost stone, but had more of a metallic property to it. It did not have veins of ore, nor did it look to be made of metal itself, but it was more like it was stone that appeared to be metal. It was kind of both. The reflections on the metal bent the light in strange ways, as if the surface of it was not completely reflective, but was not completely matte either. It just had a strange refraction to it. And I'm going to describe it as roughly softball sized. You could hold it in your hand, but you could not close your hand around it. It's about yay big. He describes the exact dimensions. I'm not gonna. It's about yay big, about like a softball. And as you read this, Dodie, that smell of salt water and petrichor and swampland kind of fills your nose again before it disappears. He then explains on a different page, as you kind of flip through them, that they had begun to study it to try to figure out what type of material it was, if it had any innate properties to it. And they could sense magic coming off of it, but they were having a hard time exactly pinning down everything about it. It didn't seem to be wild magic. And there was part of it that felt more divine, but they could never really get an exact reading on the divine magic on it to prove it enough that the skeptics weren't like, oh, well, it could be anything. But there was enough there that many of the scholars believed that, like, yeah, that's proof. There it is, Periorc, right there. That led, of course, to the arguments and discussions on what could be done with it. And before they could really get into testing any of its abilities or really, really getting into the nitty-gritty of it, word had gotten to the Crown City. And so they thought,
the best option would be to take it to the Crown and get help. He writes as to schmooze about, as their funds have been a tad compact. So they were requesting aid, and in return, once the artifact had been, in his words, fuddled about enough, and the relevant knowledge would be returned to the Crown, and if it were an asset, it would be used for the Crown in whatever form it needed to be. That was the deal that they had kind of been meeting about and were discussing the exact terms of, when, of course, everything went tits up. He writes that there was a portion of his team that were convinced that it was worth the effort to learn at least what it was, but that one or two on his team felt that it was too strange of a topic to be putting all of their effort into. Whether that was because they thought it was dangerous or because they thought it was irrelevant, they're unsure. But that's kind of mostly what he describes. If you have any questions about anything else, I might have it in here, but that's the main gist of it.
Can you repeat a sentence for me? Basically, between the scholars thought the best option would be to take it to the Crown and get help. Also, schmooze if their funds were starting to dip. Something you said, and then if it were deemed an asset, it would be given to the Crown to be used in whatever manner would be helpful.
Yes, he said that they were going to request aid for their funds and for their research, and in return, once the artifact had been fuddled around enough, that the relevant knowledge would of course be turned over, and if it was found to be an asset, that the artifact would be used in whatever form the Crown thought fit.
Thank you. Thank you. Which one of you is lurking in my Google Doc right now?
Me, sorry.
Did you just watch me type all that frantically?
Yeah.
Also, are you reading this out loud, or are you just kind of reading it to yourself?
Erithar's reading over her shoulder. Probably
Yeah, he's
Matt
looking over her
screaming
shoulder at it.
She kind of summarizes it for Gore.
Okay.
Blah blah blah, storm, blah blah blah, cavern, blah blah blah. Townspeople thought it was fucky, so they handed it over to the scholars. Blah blah blah, tits up. She goes into more detail than that. I'm just summarizing.
Yes. One moment. I'm gonna check on something real quick.
Okay.
By the way, Gail, you are anonymous Aurochs. Whatever the fuck that is. It looks like a cow of some sort.
When we work on the other doc, am I myself?
Yeah, that's because you're added as like
Collaborator.
Collaborator.
now you're just snooping.
Yeah. Ooh, cool.
Also, you started with hold on.
Hey Tyler. Can you check real quick?
Yeah. Hey, what the hell?
She jumping.
Won't you jumping?
Hey, what are you doing?
Okay. So, yes, you summarize it for Gore. Erithar, you're reading over her shoulder. You read basically all of the same information. So, again, also if you have any questions about it, I might have more in here, but it's all kind of... This is back where my notes are chaotic.
She finishes, she puts everything back in the envelope. Does that sound like the thing you're looking for, Erthar?
Absolutely. It's, differing variety. The thing about God, Blue, the thing about the other one is that what he knows, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It was closer to wild magic than it was. There was nothing divine about it, right?
Not that he remembers.
And it was found in it was a snowstorm, right? I have that written down.
It was snowing during the storm. But...
That's more accurate.
Yeah.
The only differing thing would be the environment in which it was obviously a different location. It was snow. The file didn't say that there was anything divine about that one. But the way the rock in which it was found at the center of like a boulder stone thing, that's accurate. The size of it, just about accurate. It's all nearly exactly the same. Which is...
Fucked?
Yes, also encouraging, it knows, for me, not... yeah, but yes, very fucked. I wish I knew more about. Yeah.
Or kind of turns around at this point. You said it was a Periorc storm?
Yes.
Ah, well, you're wrong. Turns back around.
What?
Huh?
Listen to me. I've just about had it up fucking here with people only giving me half answers, so you're going to tell me what the fuck you mean by that right now.
Ah, well, there wouldn't have been plants around the thing.
What?
Yeah, if it had come from a Periorc storm, there wouldn't have been plants. It would have all been kind of...
What?
Yeah.
Is this making any sense to her?
Plants.
Make a religion check.
Uh-oh. I have no idea what Kyler is trying to convey. It's a nat 20 plus 3.
Shit, yeah, okay. He says this, and you think about it for a second, and you're like, what the ever-loving fuck is he talking about? And you look back down at the papers and see the portion again where it talks about how the plants near the site of the storm were more lively, and how there seemed to be more plants growing around the impact of whatever this was, this cavern that had been broken. And you think about the little bit that you know about Periorc. Periorc as a deity is not often associated very closely with the Sage Queen, so your knowledge on her standing is not the greatest. But you know more than most people probably would in a day-to-day life. And you know that the overarching thing about Periorc is that storms and the sea are chaos. And that you have to find the moment
in the chaos where it can be controlled. Periorc storms are chaotic, as this one has been described, and they are destructive. He does make a point. Why would there be more plants growing after the storm if it was just pure chaos?
Fuck, he's right.
He's always right.
How do you know this?
Huh?
Periorc
How
expert.
do you know this?
Just through passing.
Shut the fuck up. Tell
You
me.
have to stop this. You have got to stop this. Listen, 3 of us are invested in this situation. We're going to be with each other for an extended period of time. You cannot just brush things off every time someone asks you something.
Okay.
Give me more detail or I swear to God I'm going to push you off this cart and leave you here.
Well, then who's gonna drive?
Me.
We'll figure it out.
I mean, I know a little bit about Periorc.
Okay, what do you know?
Basic stuff.
You look at Eridar and rubs her temples.
You want to list these basic things out for us?
Let me observe. I was not prepared for this.
She is so fucking hanging on by the skin of her skin right now.
Oh, fuck. I mean, like, there are the storms, and they're, like, super chaotic, right? Listen, we just determined Periorc is not important here.
He is right about that.
Yes.
No one is expecting you to spill out your entire life story. Alright, she involuntarily, for the most part, had to give out hers. I've already explained essentially all of what I'm doing here. If you could just, at any point, if anything becomes relevant, things that you know about, it would be nice if you would just speak up and elaborate.
Okay, let me think. Let me try and see if I can draw any lines here. He's just driving the cart. Nah, I got nothing.
The daddy shakes his head.
He's
Listen,
like dead-eyed staring at the bottom
listen.
of the car.
I understand you two have a big involvement with whatever this is. I just need the damn rock. That's it. I have no connection to this.
Why?
And I know, like, next to nothing.
Damn rock.
Because I need it.
It's a good enough answer.
I have to bring
That's just,
I have to bring it somewhere where it will be safe.
Okay. Who has tasked you with this?
I can't tell you.
I will fucking murder you.
There are worse things out there than this fucking shadow realm, and you don't understand that because you've been cooped up in that fucking castle your entire life. So when I tell you that you do not need to know, keep it shut, because I'm trying to save your life here.
It's really sexy of him.
I said it was top secret for a goddamn reason.
I feel like the fact that she's
not known a lot of things because recently she's kind of learned that. I don't think you need to bring it up again.
Well, then stop backing me into a corner, or I'm gonna get upset, and nobody wants that. I've got a mission, and I'm going to do it. And I will tell you information if it comes to my brain like I've been doing. But nothing from my past will help any of this. I can promise you.
I'm gonna make an inside check.
Okay. Tyler, if you would like to make a persuasion or deception check, you can.
What is... Hello? Oh, I couldn't alphabet. 21?
Okay. Arathar?
Oh, sorry, I thought we were doing the thing. That's just a 14.
14. What you looking for?
Oh, just if what he just said, if I can see if just from like face, if he seems like he's just being dishonest about that straight up statement that none of it has to do with him.
He seems to be being honest about it. It really seems like he just wants to get in and get out.
Alright. Earther's gonna stare at him for a minute. Alright.
And I even told you could go with me to drop the damn thing off.
And I appreciate that. You just have to understand that more's come up and we're a lot more on edge. I believe you.
She gets really quiet and starts sharpening her axe to have something to do with her hands.
Okay. Dodie kind of sits off to herself. Gore turns around and continues driving. Arathar, you are kind of left to your own devices.
Probably gonna write in the journal if he can like shield brain just to be looking down. It doesn't have to be looking at anybody.
Mm-hmm. You go through your bag, kind of setting aside the books that you stole. The multiple books that you stole. And getting out your journal. It has gotten, by this point, as you have gotten through the city and out onto the trail southward, Dodie, you know that this will be a decently long trek. Probably about a week, if everything goes to plan. But you all continue. Night begins to fall. And I think that is where we will stop for tonight. Yes?
No travel.
We will get into
No
our
travel after that.
travel sesh next time. Oops. Perfect time to turn the music off. Look at that. Perfect timing. So, yep. So you guys, let me see. Yeah, about 7-ish days. If you just travel and don't stop any place. But you will pass through Struxrun and Massip on your way there. So. On your way down to the southern headland where ZM in the religious archival city sits. So, what a session. We managed to get it to about 4 hours. So, I feel like...
Actually finished before the time changed for me, which is an accomplishment
Yeah.
for a light-saving session.
So, I'm going to go ahead and turn the stream off then. I feel so pleased with myself. But I'm going to let you guys stew in all of that while I turn it off, so deuces.